Some siblings compete. Mine invoices. When she texted me, "Pay for my plastic surgery or you're a bad sister," it wasn't emotional. It was calculated. She'd already picked the clinic, already planned the deposit, already decided my savings belonged to her. In her head, my stability was theft, and refusing to hand it over was betrayal. That's when I understood this wasn't about confidence, it was about control. The first text came at 6:42 a.m. Most people use that hour for alarms or coffee. My sister used it for ultimatums. "Pay for my plastic surgery or you're a bad sister." That was it. No good morning, no build-up, no fake softness, just a demand and a verdict. I stared at my phone from under the blanket, half asleep, thinking maybe I'd misread it. Maybe autocorrect had done something weird. Maybe she meant something else. Then the second message came. "I'm serious." Then a third. I already had the consultation. Then screenshots, a clinic quote, a total circled in red, a payment plan broken into neat little monthly installments, like it was a car loan or a mortgage, something respectable, something adult. Except it wasn't for a house, it was for a cosmetic procedure she'd been talking about for 2 years. I sat up slowly in bed. My heart wasn't racing yet. That would come later. First came the familiar weight in my chest, the one that always showed up when she wanted something, and I already knew how the story usually ended, with me paying. I typed one word. No. The typing bubble appeared instantly, then disappeared. Then came the flood. "You didn't even ask what it's for. You don't care about my confidence." You know how much I've struggled with this. I put my phone face down and walked to the kitchen. Coffee first, reality second. By the time the machine finished dripping, I had 12 missed calls. All from her. I called her back because ignoring her only escalates things faster. She answered on the first ring. "So you're just going to say no?" she demanded. "Yes." Silence. Not stunned silence. Calculating silence. "You didn't even let me explain." "You sent the quote." "It's not about money," she snapped. "It's about support." It is always about money when someone says it's not about money. "What exactly are you asking for?" I said evenly. "You know what I'm asking for. Say it." She exhaled sharply. "I want you to pay for my surgery." "Why me?" "Because you have savings." There it was, clean, unapologetic. My savings were never private in our family. They were communal potential. She continued before I could respond. "You're the responsible one. You've always been. I'm not asking you to do something crazy. I'm asking you to help your sister." Help. That word had cost me thousands over the years. Help was the time I covered her rent when she forgot her payment date. Help was the car repair she promised to repay. Help was the credit card balance she said was temporary. Help was never returned. "I already helped you last year," I said. "That was different." "How?" "That was survival," she said. "This is healing." I laughed once. I couldn't help it. "Healing?" "Yes," she said fiercely. "You don't understand what it's like to look in the mirror and hate what you see." The shift was subtle but deliberate. If I refused now, I wasn't just selfish. I was cruel. "You're not sick," I said. "This is elective." She gasped like I'd slapped her. "So now you're minimizing my trauma?" Here we go. "No, I'm saying it's not my financial responsibility." "You're my sister, and you're an adult." She went quiet again. That quiet always meant she was rearranging the script. "You've always thought you were better than me," she said softly. That line had survived every version of us since childhood. When I got better grades, I was trying too hard. When I worked 2 jobs in college, I was showing off. When I moved into my own place, I was abandoning her. Every step forward I took translated into an insult she felt. "This isn't about being better," I said. "It's about boundaries." She scoffed. "Boundaries? God, you sound like a podcast." "I sound like someone who doesn't want to finance a surgery she didn't ask for," she snapped. "You have money sitting in an account doing nothing while I'm suffering." That sentence hit differently. Doing nothing. My savings were for a house, for security, for emergencies, for not living paycheck to paycheck the way we grew up. To her, that wasn't planning, it was hoarding. "So you're saying my future matters less than your insecurity?" I asked. She didn't hesitate. Yes. The honesty stunned me more than the demand. I need this, she continued rapidly. You don't understand. This will change everything for me. My confidence, my relationships, my career. I'll finally feel normal. There it was. Not vanity, identity. And identity in her world required funding. How much? I asked, even though I already knew. She named the number. It was the size of a used car. That's not a small favor, I said. It's an investment in me. I'm not your investor. Her breathing got heavier. Fine, she said. I'll tell Mom. Of course she would. By noon, my phone lit up with my mother's name. I didn't answer immediately. I needed the coffee to settle first. When I did answer, she skipped hello. Why are you being difficult? I closed my eyes. She wants me to pay for plastic surgery. She's insecure, my mom said quickly. You know that. That's not my bill. She's your sister. And I'm not her bank. My mother sighed in that exhausted way that makes you feel like you're the one causing problems. You have money. That doesn't make it hers. She's been struggling, she pressed. So have I. With what? She asked sharply. And there it was. Struggle only counted if it was loud. I've been saving for years, I said. I've sacrificed things. And you're still fine, my mother said. That sentence cracked something inside me. Fine, stable, responsible. Those words had turned me into a resource. She thinks this surgery will change her life, my mom continued. If you loved her, you'd want that for her. Love apparently came with a receipt. I leaned against the kitchen counter and stared at the sunlight hitting the floor. You're asking me to trade my security for her self-esteem, I said. She's your sister, my mom repeated, as if the title erased math. I hung up. The text resumed within minutes, this time from extended family. Aunt, I heard there's tension. What's going on? Cousin, she just needs support. Even my grandmother. Why are you two fighting? My sister had already curated the story. By evening, she posted something on Instagram, a black background, white text. It's painful when your own family refuses to support your healing. The comments poured in. You deserve better. Blood doesn't always mean loyalty. So proud of you for choosing yourself, choosing herself, by choosing my wallet. I stared at my reflection in the dark screen of my phone. I knew this pattern. Demand, guilt, public pressure, victim narrative. Eventually, I would cave, because keeping the peace always cost less emotionally than fighting. Except this time, the number she wanted wasn't small, and neither was the principal. My phone buzzed again. Her name. I answered. Are you really going to let people think you don't support me? She asked immediately. I don't support this, I said. So you admit it? Yes. Silence. Then she said it, slow and deliberate. You're a bad sister. The title landed like a brand. And for the first time in my life, I didn't rush to scrub it off. I just stood there, holding the phone, and wondered why being good had always meant paying. By the next morning, she had moved from guilt to strategy. She sent me the clinic's payment portal. Not a suggestion, a link. You can just pay the deposit directly, she wrote. That way you know I won't waste it. The quotation marks around waste weren't subtle. She was already framing me as paranoid. I didn't click the link. Instead, I scrolled up through our message history. 3 years of transactions disguised as love. Can you spot me just until Friday? I swear I'll pay you back. You're the only one I can count on. You're the responsible one. Responsible. That word had built a cage around me. My phone rang again. I let it go to voicemail this time. Her voice came through seconds later. You don't understand what it's like to live in this body, she said, voice trembling. Every picture, every mirror, every time someone looks at me and I know what they're thinking. I almost felt it. Almost. Then the second voicemail arrived. If you don't help me, I'm going to assume you want me to stay miserable. There it was. If I refused, I was choosing her misery. By lunch, she escalated. She added me to a new group chat. Participants, mom, dad, 2 cousins, an aunt. The first message was hers. I don't want drama. I just want transparency. That's how it always starts. She posted the clinic quote, then she wrote, "I asked my sister for help. She said no. No context, no explanation, just a public verdict." My mom responded first. "Why would you say no?" I typed slowly, "Because I'm not funding elective surgery." My sister responded instantly. "Elective? So now my mental health is optional?" A cousin chimed in. "If it helps her confidence, isn't that important?" Dad finally spoke. "Maybe there's a compromise." Compromise. Like we were negotiating land. "This isn't a family investment," I wrote. "It's her decision." "Exactly," she fired back. "And you're deciding not to support it." She followed up with a voice note. I didn't want to play it. I did anyway. She was crying. "I've spent my whole life feeling like the ugly one. You were always the pretty one, the smart one, the stable one, and now you're the rich one too. Do you know what that feels like?" The room around me felt smaller. I remembered being 12 and watching her smash a mirror because she didn't like her reflection. I remembered her stealing my clothes and then blaming me for trying to outshine her. I remembered my mother telling me, "Just let her have this one. You're stronger." Stronger had always meant surrendering. "You've always had it easier," she continued in the voice note. "And you won't even give me this?" Easier. Because I worked overtime. Because I saved. Because I didn't spend money to soothe insecurity. My aunt typed, "Maybe you could loan her the money?" Loan. The word had no meaning in our family. Loans became gifts the moment you stopped asking for them back. "She still owes me from last year," I wrote. Silence in the chat. Then my sister replied, "Wow, throwing that in my face." "I'm stating a fact. You're humiliating me." There it was again. Any mention of reality was humiliation. She pivoted. "You know what? Fine. I'll tell everyone why you're really saying no." I stared at the screen. "And why is that?" I asked. "Because you can't stand the idea of me looking better than you." The accusation was almost impressive. Projection at Olympic level. "I don't compete with you," I typed. "You always have." Then she sent a photo. It was from when we were teenagers. Me at a school award ceremony. Her in the background, blurred. "Even then," she wrote. I felt something inside me shift. Not anger. Clarity. This wasn't about surgery. It was about a story she'd been telling herself for 20 years. And in her version, my existence was sabotage. That afternoon, she called again. This time, calmer. "I talked to the clinic," she said. "If you co-sign, I can get a better rate." "No." "You didn't even think about it." I did. "And?" "No." Her voice hardened. "You know what? If I don't do this, it's on you." "No," I said, "it's not." "Yes, it is, because you have the power to fix it." Power. That word again. My savings weren't just money to her. They were leverage. "You think I don't see that account?" she said suddenly. My stomach tightened. "What account?" "The one you bragged about at Christmas, your future fund." I hadn't bragged. I'd mentioned I was saving for a house. She'd been silent then, watching. "You don't deserve that much security while I'm drowning," she said. The honesty of that sentence chilled me. She didn't want help. She wanted redistribution. "Security isn't selfish," I said. "It is when your own sister is suffering." "You're not suffering," I snapped. "You want surgery." She inhaled sharply. "You have no idea what I've been through." Then came the escalation I'd been half expecting. "If I spiral because I can't fix this, that's on you." The threat wasn't direct, but it was there. I sat down slowly. "You don't get to weaponize your mental health," I said quietly. "I'm not weaponizing it. I'm explaining consequences." Consequences. For not paying. I hung up. My hands were shaking now, not from fear of her, from anger at myself, because part of me was still calculating. If I paid the deposit, would this stop? If I gave her half, would she ease off? If I framed it as a loan with paperwork, could I protect myself? That was the trap. Negotiation keeps the door open. That evening, she showed up at my apartment unannounced. Again. When I opened the door, she looked smaller than usual. Hair tied back. No makeup. Hoodie pulled tight. "I just want to talk," she said softly. That softness was more dangerous than yelling. We sat at my kitchen table. "I know I've borrowed before," she began. Borrowed, a generous word. But this is different. How? I asked. Because this changes everything. For you. Yes, she said, leaning forward. And if I change, our dynamic changes. There it was, not confidence, hierarchy. You don't want that, she said. What? You don't want me leveling up. The paranoia would have been funny if it weren't so exhausting. This isn't a competition, I said. It always has been, she replied. Her eyes were clear now, no tears, just certainty. If I look better, feel better, earn more attention, you're not the special one anymore. The room went silent. I had never thought of myself as special, just stable. But in her mind, stability was superiority, and superiority had to be dismantled. You really believe that? I asked. Yes. The simplicity of her answer stripped the air out of the room. For years, I had thought this was about immaturity, or impulsiveness, or insecurity. But sitting across from her, I saw something colder, entitlement. She believed my success was theft, and theft required correction. So what happens if I say no? I asked. Her jaw tightened. You'll regret it. How? You won't have a sister anymore. The threat landed softly, but it landed. And for the first time, I didn't feel fear. I felt relief. Because the idea of not playing this game anymore didn't scare me the way it used to. It felt like oxygen. She stood up when she realized I wasn't reacting the way she expected. Think about it, she said. You're choosing money over family. I didn't respond. She left without slamming the door. That night, I opened my laptop, not to send her money, but to open a new savings account. If she thought my security was a communal resource, then I needed to separate it from the narrative completely. I named it something simple. Peace Fund. And as the confirmation email landed in my inbox, I felt something settle inside me. This wasn't about surgery anymore. It was about ownership, of my money, of my future, of myself. And for the first time, I wasn't negotiating. The confrontation happened at my mother's house. Of course it did. My mom called 2 days after I opened the new account. We need to talk, she said. Not we, as in her and me, we as in tribunal. When I walked into her living room that Sunday afternoon, my sister was already there, sitting upright, calm, composed, like this was a business meeting. My dad was in his usual chair, pretending neutrality. 2 aunts had just stopped by. I almost laughed. Intervention energy. Sit, my mom said. I stayed standing for a second. Then I sat. My sister folded her hands in her lap. I don't want this to tear us apart, she began softly. I didn't respond. She looked at my mom, then back at me. I just need help. And instead of helping me, you're punishing me. Punishing? Interesting word. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm refusing to fund you. There's a difference? One of my aunts chimed in. Yes, I said flatly. My mom leaned forward. She sent me screenshots, she said. Of what? Of the new account. I blinked. My stomach tightened. What new account? My aunt asked. My sister's lips curved slightly. She sent me a link, she said sweetly, to her peace fund. The air in the room shifted. My mom's face flushed. Why would you send something like that? She demanded. Because she wouldn't stop. Because I was done negotiating. But I didn't say that. I sent her the link so she could see how savings work, I said calmly. She can open one too. My sister laughed, a brittle sound. So that's your solution? Mock me? I'm not mocking you. You literally named it Peace Fund, she snapped. Like I'm the problem. You are, I said. The word landed like a glass shattering. Silence. My mom inhaled sharply. That's your sister, she said warningly. Yes, I replied, and she's trying to extort me. The word extort made my dad shift in his chair. That's dramatic, he muttered. Is it? I asked. I pulled out my phone. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just opened our messages. You told me if I don't pay, I'm responsible for your mental spiral, I said. You told me I don't deserve security. You told me I'll regret it. What exactly is that? My sister's face flushed red. I was emotional. You were manipulative. Gasps again. My aunt whispered, "This is too much." No. This was just finally loud. My sister stood up abruptly. "You've always looked down on me," she said, voice shaking now. "You think because you saved money you're superior. I think because I saved money, it's mine." She slammed her hand on the coffee table. "It's not fair." The room froze. "There it is," I said quietly. She stared at me. "It's not fair that you get to have a house fund and I have to fight just to feel okay in my own skin," she shouted. "And that's my fault?" I asked. "Yes." There it was again, the equation in her head. If I have something she doesn't, I owe her balance. My mom stepped in. "Maybe you could compromise," she said weakly. "Pay part of it. As a gift." A gift. The same word she'd used when I paid her rent last year. A gift that somehow never counted when I asked for repayment. "No," I said. Firm, clear. "No." My sister's breathing became ragged. "You'd rather keep your precious savings than help your own blood?" "Yes." The honesty shocked even me. But once it left my mouth, it felt clean. She laughed, hysterical now. "You're disgusting." I didn't flinch. "You don't get to insult me because I won't fund you," I said. She turned to my mother. "Do you hear her? She's choosing money over me." My mom looked torn, and then she said the sentence I'd been bracing for. "You've always been the stronger one." Translation, take the hit. I felt something inside me close permanently. "I'm not stronger," I said. "I'm just done." My sister moved toward me suddenly. "You think this makes you powerful?" she hissed. "Opening some stupid account?" "It makes me independent," I said. "You were supposed to take care of me." That sentence hung in the air, not because it was dramatic, because it was true in her mind. She believed it. "You're not my child," I said quietly. She recoiled like I'd struck her. My aunt tried to calm her, but she was spiraling now. "You don't deserve that money," she screamed. "You didn't even struggle like I did." My dad finally spoke. "That's enough." But it wasn't enough. Because this wasn't about noise. It was about revelation. She looked at me with something that wasn't just anger anymore. It was hatred. "You will regret this," she said slowly. "Maybe," I replied. "But I won't regret protecting myself." The room felt smaller, heavy. My mom's eyes were wet now. "You're breaking this family," she whispered. "No," I said. "I'm refusing to finance it." And that was the moment. The turning point. Not when she screamed, not when I said no, but when I realized something undeniable. If I paid, this would never stop. Next year it would be something else. A car, a business idea, a wedding, a baby. And every time I said no, the script would repeat. Bad sister, selfish, cruel. I stood up. "This is my final answer," I said. "I'm not paying. And if you keep harassing me about it, I'm cutting contact." My sister laughed again. "You wouldn't." I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized something terrifyingly calm. I would. And for the first time, she wasn't sure. 5 Batch 4. The fallout didn't wait. It detonated the same night. By the time I got home, my phone was vibrating nonstop. Texts from cousins, aunts, even people I hadn't spoken to in years. "Is it true you called her manipulative? Why are you humiliating her? She's devastated." Devastated. I opened Instagram. She had already posted. A close-up selfie, no makeup, red eyes, perfect lighting. Caption: "Sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones who hurt you the most." Comments flooded in within minutes. "You deserve better." "Cut toxic family off." "So proud of you for standing up for yourself." The irony almost made me laugh. She had flipped the script again. Only this time I didn't feel panic. I felt tired. Deeply tired. My mom called around 9 p.m. "She's not okay," she said. "She's angry," I corrected. "She's saying she feels abandoned." "She threatened me." "She didn't mean it." "She always means it." Silence. My mom's voice softened. "Can't you just give her something, even a little, to show good faith?" There it was again. Payment as proof of love. "No," I said. "You're going to lose your sister." The words landed softly, and this time I didn't flinch. "I already lost her," I said. I just stopped paying the subscription." My mom went quiet after that. For 2 days, the harassment continued. My sister sent paragraphs, voice notes, photos of herself crying, links to articles about body dysmorphia. At one point she texted, "If something happens to me because I can't fix this, I hope you can live with yourself." That was the line, the nuclear one. I didn't argue, I didn't negotiate. I sent one response: "If you're in danger, I will call someone to help you. I will not pay you." Then I followed through. I called my mom and told her exactly what my sister had written. "If she's threatening self-harm," I said calmly, "she needs professional help, not my bank account." The manipulation shifted after that. The threats stopped. The guilt returned. "Wow, calling me crazy now?" she texted. "I called you accountable," I replied. And then I blocked her, not dramatically, not with a long speech, just blocked. Her number, her Instagram, her email. The group chat muted permanently. The silence afterward was loud, unnaturally loud. For the first few days, I kept checking my phone out of habit, waiting for the next wave. It didn't come. Instead, what came was something unexpected. Space. The kind that feels uncomfortable at first. Because when chaos disappears, you realize how much of your nervous system was built around anticipating it. A week later, my mom came over unannounced. She stood in my doorway looking smaller than usual. "She's furious," she said. "I know. She says you've always thought you were better." "I don't. But you do have more," my mom said quietly. That sentence almost hurt more than the insults, because it wasn't an accusation. It was resentment. "I worked for what I have," I said. "She thinks you don't understand her pain." "I understand it," I replied. "I just won't finance it." My mom looked around my apartment like she was seeing it differently. "You're really not going to fix this." "I can't fix something that requires me to bleed." She didn't argue after that. She just nodded slowly. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the stronger one. I felt like the free one. 2 months passed. My sister's smear campaign lost momentum. People get bored when there's no new fuel. She stopped posting about betrayal. She started posting gym selfies again, motivational quotes, a vague announcement about big changes coming. I heard through a cousin that she opened a GoFundMe. It didn't reach the number she wanted. She eventually scaled down the procedure, paid for part of it herself. I didn't react. I didn't comment. I didn't engage. Because for the first time, her choices were hers, and mine were mine. One evening, I logged into my bank account. The peace fund had grown, not dramatically, but steadily. Each deposit felt different now, not just financial, defensive, intentional, mine. I thought about the phrase she'd thrown at me that first morning. Bad sister. For weeks, it had echoed in my head like a brand. But standing there, looking at the numbers, I realized something. If being a good sister means sacrificing my future to stabilize someone else's insecurity, then yes, I am a bad sister. I am not a sponsor. I am not an emergency fund. I am not responsible for correcting someone else's reflection. Family is not a subscription you pay to avoid being shamed. Love is not a transaction. And boundaries are not cruelty. The last message I ever sent her was simple. I hope you find what you're looking for. It just won't be in my bank account. She never replied. We haven't spoken since. Some people say I should have handled it more gently. Some say money shouldn't come between blood. But money didn't come between us. Entitlement did, and I finally chose myself. Not loudly, not angrily, just permanently. Here's the truth no one wants to say. If someone only treats you like family when you're paying, you're not their sister, you're their funding source. She called me selfish, cruel, heartless. But I didn't close my wallet out of hate. I closed it because I finally understood something simple. Generosity given under threat isn't love, it's extortion. She didn't lose a sister, she lost access. And I don't regret a single dollar I didn't send.